Good evening and welcome to the Franklin Township Board of Education meeting. Today is Thursday, June 16th. Can I get a roll call, please?
Ms. Desai. Mr. Grippo.
Yes.
Dr. Hopkins. Mr. Jackson.
Yes.
Ms. Maris. Mr. Shaban.
Present.
Ms. Singh.
Here.
Dr. Smith.
Here.
Here. Thank you. And for the record, Lori Maris, Dennis Hopkins, and Nishita Desai all let us know ahead of time that they wouldn't be able to make it. John, can you read the Open Public Meetings Act, please?
Yes. In accordance with the Open Public Meetings Act, Public Law 1975, C-231 Sunshine Law, copies of this public meeting notice were sent to the Courier News, the Home News Tribune, the Star Ledger, the Franklin Reporter, Tappan of Franklin Township, Franklin Township Clerk Manager, District Schools, offices and associations, PTO presidents, and posted on a district website.
Thank you. Can I get a motion to adjourn to confidential? So moved. Moved by Ardeman, seconded by
Second.
Mike. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? We are adjourning to confidential to discuss confidential matters, including employee matters and contract negotiations. Minutes of the confidential session will be made public when the reason for confidentiality no longer exists. And we're adjourned. Good evening and welcome back to the Franklin Township Board of Education regular meeting. Today is still Thursday, June 16th. Bill, will you read the Pledge of Allegiance? Will you lead us in the Pledge of Allegiance, please?
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. Sammy, will you read the mission statement, please?
What did she say?
Franklin Township Schools embraces its diversity, fosters excellent educational innovation, and empowers all students to achieve their highest potential.
Thank you. Can I get a motion to adopt the agenda with the following revisions, moving the public hearing on the student safety data report until just before new business?
So moved.
Moved by Ardeman, seconded by
Seconded, Sammy.
Sammy. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Okay. And now we are on to our presentation from Sioux Falls Health Center. John?
Sure, thank you. Whoa. That really carried. So we have with us tonight, if you recall last month I made mention that we were fortunate to be able to work with Sioux Falls Health Centers in securing a grant that will allow us to open eventually a school-based health center for the benefit of our students. So with us tonight to talk a little bit about the goals of our program is Ms. Fran Palm. Fran is the Chief Operating Officer for Sioux Falls, and she'll give you a little background. And I just want to thank you, Fran. You've been wonderful to work with so far, and I look forward to furthering our partnership.
Thank you. Likewise, thank you so much for having me to the board and the public who is present. I will hopefully let this clicker work. I've been with the Sioux Falls Health Center for a little over 8 years now, and I send regrets on behalf of our CEO, Eva Turbiner, who would have liked to come herself, but unfortunately is out of state right now, so she sent me in her place. And we are very excited to begin this partnership with Franklin Township to bring health. background on the organization, and there we go. And our goal, our mission is to provide access to quality, affordable, culturally competent care, health care, to, we say, people and communities. Obviously, we're not providing care specifically to an entire community, but we know that we have to take into account what's happening in the community that affects also the individuals and vice versa. Our overall vision is that we're creating equal access to good health. We know that when people are in good health, then they have the opportunity to take care of other things in their life. And bad health can get in the way of that, obviously. Finishing school, getting in the way of gainful employment. So we've actually just celebrated our, a few years ago, our 30th anniversary. And we were established in Dover by a physician and his wife. He retired, and his wife said, "You just can't hang around here all day. Let's do something." And so they started volunteering, said, "There's people in the community that need help. Let's see what we can do." And they gathered up a few friends, and they just started helping people who didn't have access to health care. The need was great. More and more people came, and over time, things formalized into the organization that it is now, and we are a nationally recognized for our quality. It's called a federally qualified health center, but that basically just means we are still an independent organization, but we meet a whole set of federal standards that are set in place to make sure that we're doing quality work serving the community. Our focus, although we will serve anyone who comes in our doors, our focus is on serving those who have barriers to care, which typically includes low income and sometimes lack of health insurance. Other challenges, we have special focus on serving people who are dealing with homelessness, migrant and seasonal farm workers, residents of public housing, and veterans in particular as it relates to dental services. And so we do offer medical, dental, and behavioral health services to adults and children. So we serve, in last full year, 2021, we served over 41,000 patients and 175,000 visits. So we're meeting a lot of need for a lot of folks. 75% of our patients are under 250% of the federal poverty level. Great majority are uninsured, a little over half. Almost 3/4 identify as Hispanic. And 66 say they'd feel more comfortable if they could speak their original language. So we do try our best to meet those needs. So why do we want a health center in a school? Well, there's, as I mentioned, a lot of reasons why, and I think that the district also feels the same way. Otherwise, we wouldn't be embarking on this endeavor together. But if you're sick, you just can't focus on the other things that you need to do, and the family can't focus on providing income to the family if they're tending to issues of illness as well. And so our goal, of course, is generally prevention. We'd like people to know how to live a healthy life and give them the tools to do that. But naturally, there's also illness to deal with as well. And so, but for children, a lot of it is thankfully focused on prevention. So immunizations and all the things that kids need to be successful in school. So I'm not going to read you all of this, but it's available, I hope, to everyone. That it's recognized that those that don't have access to health care miss a lot of school, and families miss work, and that's getting in the way of the family being successful. So bringing the services closer to where the kids are is beneficial for the families, and that's what we're hoping to do. So what are our next steps? We've been working, meeting regularly since we've been awarded this grant so that we could begin services as quickly as possible. Our ultimate goal is to establish on-site services, or on campus, I should say, because it's not within the school, but outside the school, on campus at Hillcrest Elementary for the benefit of the entire district. But it's going to take a little while. We have to look for some additional funding to be able to renovate the building for medical purposes. And in the meantime, however, we are lucky enough to have a mobile medical vehicle, which is, we call it a van, but that makes it sound little. It is a mobile home. It is very large. It actually has 2 exam rooms, and we are able to use that in the interim. So we'll be starting in July, weekly, in the parking lot with the vehicle so that we can work with the children who are in need of school physicals, wellness physicals, immunizations, all the things that they need for starting school. So we want to encourage everyone to encourage your neighbors to get their kids in early. Don't wait until the end of August. So we'd like to spread it out over the summer the best that we can. And then we'll be working in conjunction with the school district to make sure that we are available on an ongoing basis at hours and times that make the most sense for both of us. And so we hope to begin expanding our availability in September or whenever we figure out how it's to be done. There's a lot to figure out still, but we're really excited about the collaboration. Everyone has been super welcoming at the district, and we're very hopeful that this will be a really wonderful partnership. So I'm happy to answer. Oh, the next slide was supposed to be. There we go. That's a flyer that we have provided to give to, that I think has already been shared with many of the families, to invite them to come and get services at the medical van. I checked in today to see if we'd get any phone calls so far, and we have gotten a few, so that's good news. I'm happy to answer any questions if there are any. And otherwise, thank you.
Sammy, do you have any questions?
Yes. Just, can you quickly give us an overview? I know you mentioned it, but if you could just reiterate the services that you can handle here and what services you really don't handle. Just give us like a broad overview.
So in the beginning, we'll only be doing wellness exams, school physicals, and immunizations because we have limited capacity, and we want to make sure that part gets done. However, at our facilities, and it does seem like either a slide was missing or there is a little map which shows all of our offices. So the closest offices, if someone needs full services, interim, probably is our Somerville office. We also have one in Plainsboro at Princeton Hospital. So we'd be happy to help facilitate people getting to those offices. And there we will do everything your primary care doctor would do. We're basically, you think of your primary care doctor, right? So we'll see you when you're sick, and we'll tell you when it's time for preventive care. We're not an emergency room. I mean, when we say we do acute, it's more of like, oh, I'm sick today, right? And you don't necessarily run off to the ER, you call your doctor. So we'll see people same day visits for things that they are ill, and then general primary. So we do at some of our facilities, not all, we're working hard. We'll also refer for behavioral health if there's behavioral health issues. And we also have dental services so that if someone needs dental care. Great demand for dental services. We can't grow that fast enough. So that's generally a little bit of a wait to get that kind of an appointment. We do hope at some point we'll be able to expand to add dental services here in Franklin as well, probably also through mobile services, at least to start. So children and, of course, adults, we are also offering services in the same way. So dealing with chronic disease, as well as all the prevention that is necessary depending on your age and situation.
Great. Just another question or two. So in terms of making appointments, is it walk-in only, or can you make appointments beforehand?
We very much like appointments. It's not that we don't take any walk-ins, it's just that it's easier to make sure that we can balance our availability. So we encourage people to call, make an appointment. And again, once someone's established patient and they have an urgent issue, we'll always try to see them as quickly as possible, depending on their circumstance. Help them determine if it's something that's urgent, they should go to an ER or urgent care. And but in general, we encourage appointments.
Great. And then I guess my final question is there any prioritization between the students, families, and the community at large? Because I'm sure that this is, a limited commodity that we need to spread across many people. So how do you do that?
So for this project, we prioritize first the school children themselves. We hope to have the capacity to expand to families. So if Johnny is in kindergarten but has a 3-year-old brother, we'd like to be able to at some point serve the family, mom, dad, grandma as well. But for right now, for just the summer, it's going to be limited just to the students.
Okay, great. Thank you. Great initiative. Thank you so much.
Mm-hmm.
Bill, do you have any questions?
Yeah, and John, maybe you could, I had a little trouble hearing you with the mask on, man. With the hours of operation, can you go over that again?
For this, well, only thing I can tell you about right now is the summer. It's going to be 8:30 to 3:30 on Thursdays, beginning July 14th.
And when school's in session,
We don't have that established yet.
then we'll have what?
We don't have that determined yet. We've
Okay.
literally had this going for about 4 weeks now, maybe 5.
Right.
So we're working through the process of getting an agreement worked out so that everyone's clear about what will happen, and then we'll work on establishing the protocols for the fall.
Yeah, Dr. Ravalia, on just logistical with the security and people parking and coming on campus. A couple of people asked me about how that's going to be managed. Maybe you could make some comments on that?
Sure. Fran and I have had conversations about that, obviously, and at first, again, the scope is limited to just school students, and of course, she's already met on 2 occasions with or at least one, our fabulous nursing team, all of them, who I told you would be very excited about this, and were they not?
They were.
And so they'll be working with us on, that appointment type of situation with students during the year. We just don't know how it's going to look, because the challenge, quite honestly, is there is no facility, and there certainly won't be a facility at the beginning of the year. So we got to figure out, when would be the opportune time to roll in a 40-foot, looks like, motorhome to provide service. And obviously, too, we want to provide service, wellness visits, immunizations, those kinds of things at times when, if it's not an immediate care situation, obviously, times when we can not disrupt the day, not disrupt the child's learning. So there's a lot to work out, and I think you're being generous. I don't know that we've even had 5 weeks, Fran, but we were excited to learn. We did not, in full disclosure, get the award right away. We scored high, but we were passed by, and it wasn't until a second round of funding became available that the federal government came back to Sioux Fall and said, hey, congratulations. And that was only a short time ago, probably about a month, beginning of May, if I recall. So it's been a really short window of time. But we are going to work through all those logistics. And as I had shared with many people, and of course we met with the Hillcrest faculty not long ago, because it will be based there eventually. And why Hillcrest? That was the best spot. We weren't infringing upon the other organization that offers similar service in New Brunswick, but yet it was in an area where it appears to be of most need, and we did that by determining students who would have qualified for Title I type services, free and reduced lunch type services, and which, as you saw by the statistic, is a determining, well, not a determining factor, but it seems who's the mission of Sioux Fall, and students non-insured. So we looked at all of that, and Fran and her folks did their thing, and of course we had to be conscientious about not infringing upon area of another provider that's in New Brunswick, while still being in an area that serviced our students best, and that's how we ended up in the Hillcrest area. So yes. The short answer is, Bill, we're very conscientious. Obviously, we don't want to put anybody in harm's way, but we also want to provide this wonderful service to many of our students who go without. So we're looking really, really forward to the partnership.
Do you have anything else, Bill? Bill, do you have any other questions?
Anything else, Bill? No. He's good.
Walter, do you have any questions?
Fran, thank you for the presentation. It was really great. My question is, for the students, what type of paperwork or documents would they need when they pay you guys a visit?
So we do ask for some information, unfortunately. So it's a general registration form, which obviously we need the demographic information, names, address, phone number, how to contact people. We do ask if they'd like sliding fee discount. We offer sliding fee discounts, which means we take into account the family size and income when we establish fees. And so we do not deny care for anyone who can't afford it, but we do ask for some evidence that that's actually the situation. So a pay stub from the parent, whatever they have that shows it. In cases where they have a job that doesn't provide any proof, we will take an attestation where they basically promise us that that's the truth. And we do ask for, of course, like all medical offices, some background information. If they've been getting care elsewhere, we'll some history information. Although for children, it's generally immunizations that we're looking for, and we can usually get that through the state. It's NJIIS, of which, don't make me say what it is. It's it's the State Registry of Immunizations for Children. I don't remember what the acronym stands for. So we can usually get that. Once we get their permission, we can access that information. And that's pretty much it.
Mike, do you have any questions?
No, thank you.
Ardeman, do you have any questions?
I do. Thank you very much for the presentation. I have a very quick question. How would you ensure that a child is feeling safe if the child is not able to communicate in English?
The majority of the patients we're currently seeing, Spanish is their language, and we do our very best to hire as many bilingual staff members as we can. That's hard for doctors and nurses because we need their skills, not just their language. But all of our support staff, pretty much almost everyone is bilingual. So our medical assistants, people who are helping us at the front desk registration. And when we don't have that available, we do use telephone interpretation service if we don't have someone who can be present to interpret. And we do, of course, all of the staff have training in cultural competence to make sure that they're as relatable as possible to people who might have a different cultural background.
Thank you.
Thank you very much, Fran, for a wonderful presentation. And we've been trying to get this to work for a while. So it's really good that we're going to be able to start it in the capacity that we can. So thank you so much.
Great, thank you.
I just want to take an opportunity one more time to thank Fran for giving of her time to come out here and talk about this. Look forward to continuing our partnership. I know we've got lots of work to do, but we'll get it done. And thanks again. And for the members of the public who might have questions, we will have the public comment period, so they'll be able to ask those questions. And Fran, we're certainly not going to make you stick around and go through all the other recognition presentations we have, but if there are any questions I can't handle, we'll jot them down, and Ms. Clark or I will get them to you for an answer. All right? And then we'll get back to somebody. So thank you.
Thank you very much.
Thank you. Do we have our student representative?
Not this evening.
Okay. I know it's the end of, today's prom?
We'll have
okay,
a brand
sorry.
new one, and we'll have a brand new one next year.
Okay. So now we're going to go on to what y'all are here for, is our recognition of our service of professional and support staff. Can I get a motion to open that, please?
So moved.
Moved by Ardeman, seconded by
Second.
Walter. All in favor?
Aye.
Okay. Mr. Bonanno, would you care to read off the names of our wonderful staff?
That one should work. Oh. You got Vincent Barty first.
If the board members would like, they can step out to the front of the table, and for those retirees and those moving on who endeavored to come on out tonight, and you'd like to wish them well in their future endeavors, we can certainly do that.
I'm so proud.
Good evening, everyone. Welcome. Congratulations to all of our retirees. We're sorry to see you go, but we hope and wish you a long, happy, healthy retirement and pursuing the next stage of life here. So I will read the names if you're here. I'll do it by location. Please come up, shake hands. Ms. Schneider there will have your plaque for presentation. So we'll start with the buildings and ground staff. We have Mr. Anthony Panzarino and Robert Anderson. If either of those gentlemen are here. And also from Buildings and Grounds, Mr. Coretta, but Mr. Coretta has a resolution that will be read a little later. From the central office, Ms. Carolyn Armstrong, Ms. Marlene Kuzma, Ms. Roberta Mitchell, and Mr. Ed Ward, if any of those folks are here. Moving on to Claremont Elementary School, Ms. Yvonne Bello-Osagi, Ms. Michelle Sidwell, Ms. Carol Kolanowski, and Ms. Cynthia Miska. If any of those folks are here. From Connerly Road Elementary School, and both of these first two names are worth pointing out. We have Mr. Russell Hall, who was a custodian here for us for over 40 years, which is just an amazing achievement. And also from Connerly, Dr. Donna Silver Burnett, 41 years in district. If I'm not mistaken, this was Dr. Burnett's only workplace after college. So that, again, an amazing achievement. Also from Connerly Road School, Miss Joy Kaczynski, who I did see. There she is. Right. Come on right up here. Miss Monterey Karazi and Miss Rosemary Verona. Okay. From Elizabeth Avenue School, Miss Kimberly DeSarno. Mr. Timothy Miner. Miss Pat Sanchez. Miss Debbie Hentz. Oh, there's, I didn't see you there, Pat. I'm so sorry. Congratulations. And Miss Debbie Hentz. Don't believe it's here. Finally, from Elizabeth Avenue School, who I do see in our audience here, Mr. Haney, Mr. John Haney, principal, who spent 12 years as principal of Elizabeth Avenue School, and leaving us to go on to greener pastures, shall we say? You're still walking. Mr. Haney. Mr. Haney. From Franklin High School, Miss Jean Pacifico. Miss Ernestine Bryant. Dominika Latinsky. Miss Ellen Beatty. Miss Sylvia Fletcher. And Miss Linda Miller. Franklin Middle School at Hamilton Street campus. We have Martha Camerata, Martha Camerata. Miss Diane McPherson, and Miss Amy Nelson. From Franklin Park School, Miss Michelle Stevens. Miss Laurel Kane, and Miss Bella Bellows. Continuing with Franklin Park School, Miss Janice Lawson Perez. Miss Selena Acosta Laws. Miss Cheryl Corbett. Miss Judy Williams. And Miss Beverly Roberts. From Hillcrest, Adrian Alexander. And Miss Robinson Quirk, Christina Robinson Quirk. From McAfee School, Miss Frances Wilson and Mario Obeso. Pine Grove Manor School, Miss Lori Gross and Miss Laura Anderson. From Sampson G. Smith School, Miss Valerie Northey, Miss Melanie Touloud, Abel Lockhart, Robert DeLillo, and last but not least, I believe, Miss Florence Raup from Transportation. All we have left are administrators and resolutions, so I'm not sure if you want to read the resolutions individually. Sure. So we'll start with Ms. Carolyn Armstrong. Whereas Dr. Armstrong, a lifelong supporter of Franklin Township School District, has served as an English teacher from 1994 to 2008, as supervisor of English 612 from 2008 to 2022, and whereas during this period of leadership, Dr. Carolyn Armstrong has clearly, consistently, and tirelessly worked with the community, parents, staff, Board of Education, and Superintendent of Schools to champion, promote, and advocate programs, services, and opportunities for the benefit of all students, staff, and the community. And whereas Dr. Carolyn Armstrong demonstrated a high standard of leadership as a district administrator, which created an era of achievement and growth for the students and the staff under her supervision, a standard for all to follow. And whereas Dr. Carolyn Armstrong has publicly and personally joined the Board of Education in support of its vision of the future of education for all the children of Franklin Township. Now, therefore, be it resolved that the members of the Board of Education and the Superintendent of Schools of the Township of Franklin, Somerset County, New Jersey, do hereby take the opportunity to express their deep gratitude and affirmation to Dr. Carolyn Armstrong, a true warrior for life, for her excellence dedicated service, and leadership to the Franklin Township Board of Education, school district, and community.
All right.
Letter C is for a resolution for Mr. Joseph Coretta. Whereas Mr. Joseph Coretta, a supporter of Franklin Township School District, has served as the Assistant Supervisor of Custodial Services from 2005 to 2010, Supervisor of Maintenance Grounds from 2005 to, I apologize, there's an error here. It's Assistant Supervisor of Custodial Services from 2005 to 2010, and Custodial Services Supervisor of Custodial Services from 2018 to 2022. And whereas during the period of leadership, Mr. Joseph Coretta has clearly, consistently, and tirelessly worked with the community, parents, staff, Board of Education, and Superintendent of Schools to ensure a superior level of building readiness for staff, students, and the community, and champion, promote, and advocate opportunities for the benefit of all students, staff, and the community. And whereas Mr. Joseph Coretta demonstrated a high standard of leadership as a district administrator, which created a noteworthy educational environment for students, staff, and the community at large. And whereas Joseph Coretta has publicly and personally joined the Board of Education in support of its vision of the future of education for all children of Franklin Township. Now, therefore, be it resolved that the members of the Board of Education and the Superintendent of Schools of the Township of Franklin, Somerset County, New Jersey, do hereby take the opportunity to express their deep gratitude and affirmation for Mr. Joseph Coretta, a true warrior for life, for his excellence, dedicated service, and leadership to the Franklin Township Board of Education, School District, and community.
Thank you, sir. I'm going to finish these up for you there, Mr. Bonanno. Well, I'm going to go the other way. I'm going to start with Mr. Ward, who couldn't be with us this evening. Whereas Mr. Edward Ward, supporter of Franklin Township School District, has served as a supervisor of instruction and technology from July 1, 2016 to June 30, 2022. And whereas during this period of leadership, Mr. Edward Ward has clearly, consistently, and tirelessly worked with the community, parents, staff, Board of Education, and Superintendent of Schools to champion, promote, and advocate programs, services, and opportunities for the benefit of all students, staff, and the community. And whereas Mr. Edward Ward demonstrated a high standard of leadership as a district administrator, which created an era of achievement and growth for students and staff under his supervision, a standard for all to follow. And whereas Mr. Edward Ward has publicly and personally joined the Board of Education in support of its vision of the future of education for all the children of Franklin Township. Now therefore be it resolved that the members of the Board of Education and the Superintendent of Schools of the Township of Franklin, Somerset County, New Jersey, do hereby take the opportunity to express their deep gratitude and affirmation to Mr. Edward Ward, a true warrior for life, for his excellence, dedicated service, and leadership to the Franklin Township Board of Education, School District, and community. Congratulations to Edward. We have another administrator that unfortunately couldn't be with us this evening, but I do want to recognize her, and that is Ms. Roberta Mitchell. Whereas Ms. Roberta Mitchell, a supporter of Franklin Township School District, has served as a vice principal at Franklin Middle School from 2006 to 2008, principal at Franklin Middle School from 2008 to 2012, director of special programs and projects, student support services, and community resources from 2012 to 2013, and the Director of Fine Visual Performing Arts from 2013 to 2022. And whereas during this period of leadership, Mrs. Roberta Mitchell has clearly, consistently, and tirelessly worked with the community, parents, staff, Board of Education, and Superintendent of Schools to champion, promote, and advocate programs, services, and opportunities for the benefit of all students, staff, and community. And whereas Ms. Roberta Mitchell demonstrated a high standard of leadership as a district administrator, which created an era of achievement and growth for the students and staff under her supervision, a standard for all to follow. And whereas Ms. Roberta Mitchell has publicly and personally joined the Board of Education in support of its vision for the future of education for all the Franklin Township children. Whereas, now therefore be it resolved that members of the Board of Education and Superintendent of Schools to the Township of Franklin, Somerset County, New Jersey, do hereby take the opportunity to express their deep gratitude and affirmation to Ms. Roberta Mitchell, a true warrior for life, for her excellence, dedicated service, and leadership to the Franklin Township Board of Education, school district, and community. Congratulations, Roberta. You want to do Donna? Okay. So I'm going to go to Donna, who also couldn't be with us this evening. Whereas Dr. Donna Silva Burnett, a lifelong supporter of Franklin Township School District, has served as the health and physical education teacher from 1980 to 1987, guidance counselor at Sampson G. Smith School from 1987 to 1995, acting vice principal at Sampson G. Smith School from 1995 to 1996, vice principal at Franklin High School from 1996 to 2000, vice principal at Hillcrest School from 2000 to 2005, and finally principal at Connor Lee Road School from 2005 to 2022. Whereas during this period of leadership, Dr. Donna Silva Burnett has clearly, consistently, and tirelessly worked with the community, parents, staff, Board of Education, and Superintendent of Schools to champion, promote, and advocate programs, services, and opportunities for the benefit of all students, staff, and the community. And whereas Dr. Donna Silva Burnett demonstrated a high standard of leadership as a district administrator, which created an era of achievement and growth for the students and staff under her supervision, a standard for all to follow. And whereas Dr. Donna Silva Burnett has publicly and personally joined the Board of Education in support of its vision of the future of education for all children of Franklin Township. Now, therefore, be resolved that the members of the Board of Education and Superintendent of Schools of the Township of Franklin, Somerset County, New Jersey, do hereby take the opportunity to express their deep gratitude and affirmation to Dr. Donna Silva Burnett, a true warrior for life, for her excellence, dedicated service, and leadership to the Franklin Township Board of Education, School District, and community. Congratulations to Donna.
And we will close this portion of the recognition with the resolution for Mr. John Haney. Whereas Mr. John Haney, a supporter of the Franklin Township School District, has served as the principal of Elizabeth Avenue School from 2010 to 2022, and whereas during this period of leadership, Mr. John Haney has clearly, consistently, and tirelessly worked with the community, parents, staff, Board of Education, and Superintendent of Schools to champion, promote, and advocate programs, services, and opportunities for the benefit of all students, staff, and the community. And whereas Mr. John Haney demonstrated a high standard of leadership as a district administrator, which created an era of achievement and growth for the students and staff under his supervision, a standard for all to follow. And whereas Mr. John Haney has publicly and personally joined the Board of Education in support of its vision of the future of education for all the children of Franklin Township. Now, therefore, be it resolved that the members of the Board of Education and the Superintendent of Schools of the Township of Franklin, Somerset County, New Jersey, do hereby take the opportunity to express their deep gratitude and affirmation to Mr. John Haney, a true warrior for life, for his excellence, dedicated service, and leadership to the Franklin Township Board of Education School District and community.
This is the recognition of the school-connected organization leadership, whereas the Franklin Township school-connected organizations are an active, integral part of the community, and whereas the school-connected organizations provide essential information for educational decision-making, financial support for student and staff activities, technical assistance, and other community resources for school activities, and enthusiastic volunteers for district and school projects. Therefore, be it resolved that the Franklin Township Board of Education and the Superintendent of Schools formally express their appreciation and gratitude for the dedication, hard work, and support of the school-connected organizations. And it be further resolved that the Board of Education salutes and warmly congratulates the district leadership of those school-connected organizations. We have some names here, some of whom could not make it because there was an award ceremony this evening at Franklin High School. So Franklin High School PTSO and Project Graduation is our friend Nick DeMeglio, who is at Franklin High School right now. I'm moving this thing. Franklin Middle School PTSO, Daniel Pacino and Robert Ziegler. If anyone is here, they can also come up to greet the board. Claremont Elementary School, Kimberly Steffens, Connerly Road School, Graham Moday, Elizabeth, oh, come on up. Elizabeth Avenue School, Deborah Perillo, and Mila Fung. Yeah. Okay. Franklin Park School, Monty Sanderson. Hillcrest School, Anisha Waladalawa. McAfee Road School, Leslie Primo and Erica Trask. Pine Grove Manor School, Annabelle Figuerodi. Franklin Athletics Booster Club, Marissa Gallagher and Tawana Cotton. Franklin High School Band Parents, Gina Walker and Amy Keene. Franklin Township Orchestra Parents, Deborah Zawalski. Franklin High School Vocal Music Parents Organization, Carol Stewart and Nikki Tatum. I'll take the rest. And if someone is not here, or if, I will make sure that they get their certificates. Okay, thank you very much.
As the board members make their way back, I just want to thank, again, all of our school-connected organizations. Folks don't realize, or maybe you do, they do so much fundraising, and the support that they give a lot of our programs, music programs, sports programs, elementary schools, allow for our leaders in those programs and our kids to benefit from things they wouldn't otherwise be able to benefit from. So thanks for all you do. I know it's a lot of, it's a labor of love, but we really, really, really appreciate your time and efforts, truly. So thanks.
So to our school-connected organizations, to piggyback off of what John just said, we really can't do it without you. And thank you for all the hard work. And to our retirees, thank you so much for all that you've done. And we wish you good luck in your next adventure. And now we're on to Mr. Wilson, our student safety data report.
Testing. 1, 2, okay. All right, good evening. Tonight, I am honored to present the Franklin Township Public School District's Student Safety Data System, or SSDS, report for period 1 for the current school year. The SSDS period 1 report covers a period of time from the beginning of the school year up and through December 31st. Although the SDS report focuses primarily on student suspensions, harassment, intimidation, and bullying data, and the training and programs that are in place in all districts to improve the culture and climate of our schools, our report tonight also includes also includes all of the data associated with student discipline that has occurred during this same period of time. The sources of that data include office discipline referrals, HIB investigations, and the actual student suspension reports. All right? We recognize that this has been a very difficult year. In fact, we've tried to, at the very beginning, anticipate the kinds of things that we might encounter with our students and our staff coming back to full, in-person, regular instruction. So in setting out at the start of the year, we set up what our goals for student behavior might be. They include increasing academic achievement, meeting the social and emotional needs of students through the current and expanding programs such as PBS, and providing students and staff with a safe school environment in which to teach and to learn. So in looking at the data for that period 1, one of the things that you'll see what this slide shows is the total number of ODRs by school category. So we have our high school, our middle schools, and our elementary schools. There were 437 ODRs that were written for students to address student behavior at the high school. There were 295 at our middle school campuses, and in our elementary, there were 68 ODRs that were written. Now, not all ODRs result in suspension. Not all ODRs result in discipline. The response to ODRs from our administrators include anything from student warnings, parent conferences, detentions, and it can also include suspension. If you look at this slide, what you will notice at the bottom is the white area. The white area includes, they are also ODRs as well, but these are ODRs that did result in incidents of suspension. So the point in seeing this chart is that you notice that there are, that suspensions are, they're brought about through the ODR process, but the majority of the ODRs are handled in a different way, responded to differently. Not all of them result in suspensions. In fact, only a small percentage of them do. All right? Oops, the wrong way. When we look at the high school, one of the things we tried to identify were the top 5 reasons ODRs were written. Cutting class. Some of you who have seen this report know before that pre-pandemic, cutting class was an area of concern. It continues to be. And then followed closely by class disruptions or disruptions in the school, and physical aggression, and then CDS or tobacco offenses, and last, non-compliance type ODRs or behaviors. At the middle school, the number one was physical aggression, followed by disruption, then non-compliance, obscene language or gestures, and then tobacco. And at the elementary level, physical aggression, again, was in the top 5. There were 25 of them, followed by non-compliance, classroom disruption, throwing objects. There were 6 incidents of that, and possession of unsafe materials. This is the representation of the number of students at the high school who were suspended at least once against the total population. Representation shows 4%. Actually, it's just a little less than 4%. But again, what this graph or chart shows is that the majority of our students at our high school, they respond to universal behavior correction, and that does not result in suspension. When we looked at the same for our middle school, the data was almost identical. And again, overwhelmingly, the majority of students respond to universal behavior correction. At our elementary school, as you might expect, with the least the number of suspensions, and again, that's 1%. So backing up and looking at this, what you might gather is that sometimes we spend a lot of time trying to help or assist and support that 4% of students that sometimes struggle with complying with rules and regulations associated with our student code of conduct. The other part of the SSDS report focuses on incidents of and investigations associated with harassment, intimidation, and bullying. At the high school during this period of time, there were 4 incidents that needed to be investigated. Out of the 4, 2 were confirmed and 2 were not. At the middle school, there were 21 at our middle school campuses. 12 of those incidents were not confirmed. 9 of them were confirmed to be harassment, intimidation, and bullying. And at our elementary schools, they split 2 and 2, similar to the high school. Now, a lot of people sometimes question about harassment, intimidation, and bullying. So if you say it's harassment, intimidation, and bullying, that's one thing, but what happens, what is it when a situation is not confirmed harassment, intimidation, and bullying? Does anything happen? So the answer to that question is obviously yes. What our administrators and our anti-bullying specialists are trained to do is to look at the behavior first. So if the behavior is a violation of our student code of conduct, it is addressed in that manner. So you could have someone allege harassment, intimidation, and bullying. The school will handle it, look at it, do their investigation. They might determine it is bad behavior and issue a consequence consistent with the student code of conduct. And it is also something that identifies as violation of the harassment, intimidation, and bullying policy. they may look at it and determine that it is bad behavior, violation of code of conduct, but doesn't meet the standard to be identified as a violation of harassment, intimidation, and bullying. So any one of those scenarios could end up happening. So, just because we're looking at that and you're seeing there, that there were 16 allegations that were not confirmed, does not mean that that behavior that prompted those investigations was not addressed. So what do we do as a district to promote a safe environment in our schools and to address some of these behaviors that we were looking and anticipating coming out of the COVID restrictions? So in terms of helping students to resolve conflict, it's one of the things, when you look at that data, it tells us that it's what we need to do, address conflict. So we do a number of things through our counselors or SACs to help students to solve problems, to teach how to address issues, to identify what is acceptable and what is not. We provide students with support, and I'm saying students, but our staff also benefit from these things too, in how to identify stress, how to manage it, and what to do when you're feeling stressed. We provide a number of different kinds of trainings and programs for our students and staff. And I also should say that we invite the community oftentimes to participate in some of these kinds of programs to help change the culture and climate of our school and our community. So as you can see here, these are things that are offered because we look at the data and there's a need to address it. So whether it be suicide prevention or substance abuse or how to deal with anxiety or depression or other, how to connect with and build relationships. We provide that through a wide number of resources. Recently, one of the things that we were doing through the social emotional learning was setting up activities that cause individuals to self-reflect. So if you look, I'm just looking at some of those things and sharing with you. January, for example, was Self-Awareness Month. February, self-management. March, social awareness. April, responsible decision-making. May, relationship building skills. And in June, combined SEL sub-competencies that encompassed a lot of the things that we've mentioned. We provide peer mentoring as well as other mentoring for our supports for our students. This is the Connections program that you see here, which it has high school students in grades 11 and 12 working with middle school students in grades 6 and 7, teaching leadership skills, problem-solving skills, relationship building, and this is offered. They have a camp in the summer, and then they start their program during the school year, and it goes all year. We have a number of other peer mentoring, Teen Pep. We have some adult mentoring at the high school that includes recently graduates of our high school who come back and work and provide services to our current students at the high school, building relationships not just during the school day, but also after school, providing them with supports. We provide education on the dangers of substance use and abuse. So, you know, that information is shared in a number of different ways through our classrooms, to our students, and to our community. It's put in, it's available on our website, it's available through a number of other activities as well. So we're doing an awful lot. I think the key takeaway from all of this is that, you know, the strategies that we are putting in place work for the majority of our student population. But for those students who need additional support, we're providing that too. So as those, you know, some of those students that are being suspended might be involved in multiple suspensions, but we identify them and we provide them with support. So I would like to, one of the frameworks that we use to help us coordinate all of these supports and services is PBS, or the Positive Behavior Support Model. We use that to look at data and identify where we need to put our focus and focus our energies. All of our schools, and I'm proud to say we are a PBS district, which means all of our schools, elementary through the high school, are involved in the implementation of PBS to solve these kinds of problems with students. I want to call up one of my right hands here, Sharon McNeil, who is the district behaviorist, and also who helps coordinate PBS activities, just to share some of the most, in fact, we just got this news, so I'm going to ask her if she would just share that so that you can feel that impact.
Hi, good evening. Hot off the presses, just a couple days ago, we got word from New Jersey PBSIS, which is the state organization which monitors and supports schools and districts in implementing positive behavior supports. We are being recognized, our schools, for implementing with integrity and fidelity for this past year. So we're going to be on their website. We'll be receiving certificates of appreciation, and we're going to be exemplar schools for other schools to use in their developing of their programs and training and services. So I'm so delighted to share that. Be on the lookout, and again, I'm so proud of all the work we're doing, and I'm grateful to be able to work with Mr. Wilson in supporting our students, our schools, and our staff.
Thank you, Sharon. The other part of this presentation focuses on reviewing our harassment, the Board of Education's harassment, intimidation, and bullying policies. It is part of what we're required to do, so we take this forum to share this information with our public and with our board. So what is harassment, intimidation, and bullying? You've probably heard this an awful lot. It is any gesture that could be written, verbal, or physical, could be electronic, whether it can be a single act or it can be a series of acts, and this is the key part of this phrase, that is motivated by an actual or perceived distinguishing characteristic. So this is the primary criteria that the state of New Jersey looks at in determining whether something meets that definition of harassment, intimidation, and bullying, whether it is motivated by a person's distinguishing characteristic. That could include things like race, color, religion. It could include, membership in a group. So all of those things could be considered distinguishing characteristics. Also, it has to substantially disrupt or interfere with the orderly operation of the school or the rights of other students. And it could have the effect of insulting or demeaning any student or group of students. And last, it could create a hostile educational environment for a student, interfering with the student's education or severely causing physical or emotional harm. Okay, it would be like a situation where a student felt like, listen, what they're doing, what is happening, I don't feel comfortable going to school, I'm afraid to go, or I'm afraid to go to the dance, because those would be examples of that. Okay? Must be motivated, again, the criteria that our anti-bullying specialists and our principal administrators are looking for. Is it motivated by membership in a protected group or class or a distinguishing characteristic? Does it have the effect of insulting, demeaning, embarrassing, or threatening to cause harm or physical harm to the victim or the victims or their property? Does it create a hostile environment that disrupts and interferes with the orderly operation of the school? So, what to do if you encounter any of these kinds of behaviors or feel that you are being, or you are the subject of any of this bullying behavior. If you're a student and you feel that you're the victim of bullying behavior, or you see someone else being bullied, if you're an adult and you have a child and you believe your child is being bullied, or you see another child that you believe is being bullied, the thing to do is to report it, and to report it immediately. Many times people see things and they wait until something major happens to say, oh yeah, all these things happened, this happened today, but these things happened in the past, and although I didn't report them, I'm reporting them now. Well, the problem with that sometimes is that it's hard to get the data to support it after so much time has passed. So if you see it, if you feel that you're being bullied, report it to someone who can do something about it. And if you think that you've reported it and it hasn't been responded to, then you can certainly, there are other things you can do as well. You can contact, like I said, the teacher, the anti-bullying specialist assigned to the school, the building principal, or you can contact the board office. Typically, it'll end up on my desk, and I can assure you that it would be addressed. And okay. The last thing that I have to share is about, and again, this is something that is a requirement, it's internet safety. The law requires that school districts develop a plan to ensure education is provided to every student regarding the appropriate online behavior and online use of equipment, that these protect student use of electronic communication by assigning students email accounts, which we do, which are processed through our own district server, that have filters that block inappropriate material from their Chromebook, and that also has a mechanism to notify the administration, teachers, when students attempt to access inappropriate materials, or if they post inappropriate or concerning material on the internet. So an example of that might be if the student posted something about self-harm. That would result in a notification to our administrators, to the building teachers, so that we can react to them, and we do. Students in grades 3 through 12 are provided education via assemblies, coursework about appropriate online behavior and how to use and the use of social networking sites, cyberbullying, and the responses to it. These protections and our board policy talking about student use and protections are listed in our student code of conduct. So, you can feel free to also look at that. And that's it.
Thanks, Mr. Wilson. Madam President?
So I'm going to open it up for questions from the board. Bill is the chair. I'm sorry. As the chair of safety, do you have any questions? Bill, do you have any questions or comments?
The only comment I have is that as a member of the Safety and Schools Security Committee, Orville, myself, and other members of the committee review these statistics and data at each meeting and, look for ways for improvement. So it's not just a static report, but something that we are actively looking at and listening to the reports and the data that we get. Thank you, Orville.
Thank you. Sammy, do you have any questions or comments?
Yeah, sure, just a few questions. Thank you so much for the presentation. The 437 ODRs that were in the high school, how does that compare to pre-COVID numbers? And I know that there's been a national uptick as well. And so are we in line with that national uptick? Are we a little bit north of that, south of that? Could you give me some?
So we anticipated that there would be an uptick, and there is. There is an uptick. But I don't see us out of line with what's happening in our surrounding school districts. In fact, I think we're just a little bit, from a percentage standpoint, a little bit lower, but it's still an uptick. And as Mr. Grippo mentioned, when we're looking at that data, we kind of look at that data on a monthly basis with our building principals. And what we're looking at is watching this data. What we're looking at when we're looking at this data are ways that we can address or improve some of the situations that we're encountering. So it is something that we're constantly monitoring, constantly adjusting to, constantly changing.
And do you know what or do you recollect what the pre-COVID numbers? I mean, does this seem significantly higher than that, or is this sort of on par with what?
So Sammy, just so we're understanding, this is only the first period report. What happens in October of next year, you'll get all of that information, but we have to cycle through the entire year.
Okay.
So when Mr. Wilson comes back to make another presentation, which will be October, we do that every October as per the regulation. This is not comparison, this is just about first quarter, first report period, because we have to submit the report.
Okay.
We actually submitted the report, but we have to report it now that the DOE has accepted that report. What'll happen though is after we put second period data in October, you'll get some of that comparison that you're looking for. Again, it's going to be really tough though, because we had 1 year that was interrupted, then we had another year where we were cohorting and we had very little data because we had very little incidents, and then this year, so I guess we could go back to pre-pandemic, and we could certainly take a look at that, and we'll also look at some state and national data as well, but that'll all come out in October.
Yeah, I think that'd be really helpful to look at that.
I thought that's where you might be going, so I wanted to make sure I let you understand that that's something that we do, but we don't do it until we have a complete set of data.
Okay, I
Right.
appreciate that. One other question I had was around the HIB reports that you did. So I was a little bit surprised to see the HIB for the middle schools be higher. Like, it seems significantly higher than the high school. Can you give some clarity or some sort of thoughts around that?
So there are a couple of things that I can kind of say. In fact, I was surprised. I also kind of, at least thinking about coming back in September, thought that the HIB numbers would be higher district-wide, only because of the engagement of students in with using social media platforms. I think that and that it was not that high at the high school. I think is commendable. I think it's part of the training and also the maturity level of our high school students. I looked at those numbers for the middle school, and believe me, we have conversations about that all the time. The anti-bullying specialists at the 2 middle school campuses are constantly trying to compare, what's going on and looking for solutions to address some of these things. And overwhelmingly, at the middle school level, the majority of those HIV investigations involve situations outside of school and social media. So if somebody posted something on social media, somebody interpreted it the wrong way, and then it caused conflict that students had to manage once they were in school. So I think that's a big part of it. We're continuing to work on that. I think, maybe I believe that as the figures come in for the period 2 report, it'll be a little bit different.
Well, I guess the follow-up question is, with the success that we're seeing at the high school, is there something that we can leverage down to the middle schools to sort of, I don't know what's going on. I just don't know.
Yeah, let me comment too. I can probably help here. I think you have to remember that at the middle school level, you had 7th graders who came back this year who had never stepped foot in a middle school. And you have 8th graders who were in a middle school for about 6 months, a little more, before they went home and never came back to their school. So you had 8th graders and 7th graders who really helped to set the culture and tone for a school, who had never really spent a lot of time in their school. So I think those are some of the challenges that not only, by the way, we're seeing, because we're not the only 6th, 7th, and 8th grade middle school. That is a pretty popular grade band for middle school. That's something that I have the opportunity to talk about more globally with colleagues, and I think we've all really seen that same phenom, if you will, at the middle school level. And like I said, it's, for the most part, we have a lot of kids that, left as a mid-year 6th grader, came back as an 8th grader. And a lot of 7th graders who never stepped foot in their middle school, who started this year as a middle school student. So I think that was the challenge. Middle schools are really, really, really different than elementary schools, for those of you who can remember. I certainly can't, but Mr. Wilson can. He's a lot younger than me. No, he's really not. But he just looks a lot younger than me, yes. But the environment is very different. There's a lot more, I don't want to say freedoms, but I mean, and a lot more responsibility that shifts from teacher to student. So I think a lot of those struggles became apparent, and a lot of those struggles are obviously correlated directly to the pandemic and students not being in school. And again, we're not the only ones seeing them, and not that that's an excuse. We've got to do things, which we've been doing, to try and assimilate students and get them back into the swing of things. But like anything else, you're looking at a first period report. I think you're right, Orville, and I hope you are. We hope to see that data for second period is different. We don't have it yet, obviously, because we still have a few more days, but once it's finalized and once we get to take a look at it, and then once the DOE gets to approve it and we get it back in October, hopefully we're going to see a bit of a change. But Sammy, if I had to speculate, and again, I'm just speculating based on conversation, based on experience of what other folks are seeing, and based on our discussions, Mr. Wilson, myself, faculty, staff, you're seeing a group of middle schoolers who, for the most part, had never really been in middle school, and never had that opportunity to be a 6th grader and transition.
And
so
I just wanted to add to that too. So you're looking at that, but I want to, because I see one of our middle school anti-bullying specialists in our audience. But I have to say that what this says to me is that how seriously the anti-bullying specialists at all of our schools take their responsibility, because each one, there's a time period, a time frame that's associated with completing those investigations. And our anti-bullying specialists not only meet that time frame, but they're required by regulation and by our board policy to work with all of the students who are involved, to contact all of the parents who are involved, to try to teach the appropriate expectations. And that takes, and I'm sure, I see her nodding her head, because it takes a lot of time to do it. But they do it, and they do it with fidelity. So I commend them for doing it, and because, addressing that is a lot of work. So, and to answer part of your question too, we have to continue to educate students at all levels using those materials that they can identify with to address these things. So, 2 years of not having any supervision or instruction in how to manage that, and now coming back, I think that's kind of what we're seeing.
Thank you so much.
Thank you, Sammy. Mike, do you have any questions? Walter?
No, just a comment. Mr. Wilson and the rest of the Safety Committee, thank you for the work that you do.
That's nice. Thank you. Hardiman?
No, thank you.
Orville, I actually have 2 questions after all these years. So what are the numbers? Because those are some really cool workshops and programs that we're offering on everything, right? So what are the numbers of students attending that? I know you can't answer that today.
Yeah, I don't have those numbers.
I know you wouldn't.
But
But also, how are they selected or recruited? So, certain kids would be a good fit for a program, and maybe a teacher or a SAC or a principal seeing that?
So students are referred through a wide variety of sources. A principal or a vice principal might see a student who is struggling with particular behaviors and feel that he could benefit from the services of a mentor, and they might refer them. Or sometimes peers refer their peers who they see who are struggling with anxiety-related issues or CDS-related issues or relationship issues. Teachers refer. Parents sometimes call asking for help, and they're referred that way. So there are a number of different ways that we do it. I just scratched the surface. But sometimes as we're looking at students' records who might have some attendance-related issues and some academic issues, kind of sends a signal, a red flag to us that something needs to happen, and we use the data then to reach into our toolbox and pull out what we need to assist the student.
Thank you, and thank you, Sharon, very much. Now I'd like to open it up to public comment on the SSDS only. Can I get a motion?
So moved.
Moved by Ardeman, seconded by Sammy. All in favor? Opposed? So public comment on the student safety data sheet only is now open. If you're on the phone, please press star 5. Otherwise, please step up to the microphone. And while I love the mood lighting, if maybe we could turn the lights back up. Although it's kind of chill, so I like it.
Seeing no one, I move to close the public session on this item.
Motion to close public comment on the SSDS by Bill, seconded by, it's really bright.
Second.
Ardeman, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Public comment on, now I like it. Public comment on SSDS is now closed, and now we are on to our superintendent's report.
Yes, and I will keep it very brief. As we wrap up the 2022-2023 school year, I just wanted to take a moment to thank the community for their continued support. These are unusual times for sure, and the landscape we are operating in changes regularly. I know I speak on behalf of the district leadership when I say we appreciate the school community's flexibility and continued patience as we navigated through another difficult year. Our hope is next year is a more traditional one that will allow us to return to more normal operations, so please stay tuned as we make plans throughout the summer months. With that said, I hope everyone enjoys the upcoming long weekend this week and the final 4 days of school next week. Best of luck to the class of 2022, who we look forward to seeing off next Friday morning at Franklin High School's graduation ceremony. Go Warriors.
That was very good, John.
Thank you. And I'm going to keep mine a little bit more somber. It's with deep sadness that we inform you of the passing of Mrs. Genevieve Garbery, a retired Sampson G. Smith secretary. She passed away on June 5th, 2022. The services were private, and condolences may be sent to Richard and Lucille Garbery. You can get that information from Mary Clark if you so wish to do that. And also, Mr. Tom Del Castle Jr., who passed away earlier this month. He was the first principal at the opening of McAfee Road School in 1966. He served 36 years as an educator in Franklin, and our thoughts and prayers go out to his family. So please join me in a moment of silence for Ms. Garbery and Mr. Del Castle. Thank you. And now we are on to comments from the public on agenda items only. Can I get a motion to open public comment?
So moved.
Moved by Ardeman, seconded by Walter. All in favor? Opposed? Public comment on agenda items only is now open. Please state your name and address if you come up to the podium, and press star 5 if you are on the phone. Do you have anyone on the phone?
Seeing no one, I make a motion to close public comment.
Seconded.
Motion to close public comment by Ardeman, seconded by
Sammy.
Sammy. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Public comment on agenda items is now closed. And we are on to our committee reports. And in respect for the amount of time this evening, our curriculum, personnel, policy, facilities, and finance committee meetings will be submitted online. So please go there and look at them. And now we are on to our new business. Can I get a motion?
So moved.
Moved by Ardeman, seconded by
Second.
Walter.
In the interest of time and the audience who has been sitting here for a while, I will not read all the headings. So I would like to make a motion to move R1, M1, A1 through A13, B1 to B14, C1 through C11, and P1 through P6.
The motion is for R1, M1, A1 through A13, B1 through B14, C1 through C11, P1 through P6. Can I get a motion to second? Or
So moved.
seconded by Sammy. John, can you do roll call, please?
Yes. Mr. Grippo?
Yes.
Mr. Jackson?
Yes.
Mr. Shaban?
Yes.
Ms. Singh?
Yes.
Dr. Smith?
Yes.
Yes. Thank you. And now I would like to offer congratulations to Keon Peters, our new supervisor of school counseling, grades K to 8. So would you like to come up and say a few words?
Good evening, everyone. I'd like to take this opportunity to thank the Franklin Township Board of Education, Superintendent Ravalli, the cabinet, and the interview team for selecting me to serve as the lead for the K-8 school counseling discipline. I am elated but humbled to serve in this capacity. To my amazing village of family, friends, and colleagues, you know my journey, and I sincerely appreciate the support you have provided and will continue to provide as I embark in this new place within my career. In the words of Ken Robinson, the role of a creative leader is not to have all of the ideas. It's to create a culture where everyone can have ideas and feel valued. This will be my mantra as I lead a dynamic team of school counselors in our service to the students, families, and in support of all stakeholders of the Franklin Township Public Schools. Thank you again for this opportunity to serve.
Thank you. One second. And now we're on to good of the order. What? Oh, I'm sorry, public comment on any item. So if you'd like to come up to the microphone, please state your name and address. If you're on the phone, please press star 5. Can I get a motion to open public comment?
So moved.
Moved by Ardeman, seconded by
Mike?
Mike. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Public comment on any topic is now open.
Seeing none, Madam President, I move to close the public comment.
Motion to close public comment by Bill, seconded by,
Second?
what? Oh, I'm sorry, Alfred, do you have anybody? Okay. Motion to close by Bill, seconded by
Second.
Ardeman. All in favor? Opposed? Public comment on any item is now closed. And now we are on to the good of the order. Mike, let's start with you.
I just want to say, got through another year. Congratulations to the seniors that are going to graduate. Enjoy your summers. Be safe. Do something great. And we'll see the rest of you students next year.
Walter?
Let's keep it moving. Congratulations once again to all the retirees. Rejoice and relax as much as you can. To Ms. Peters, Mrs. Peters, congratulations. We are excited and looking forward to the amazing work that you will continue to do for our district. To the Franklin family, the finish line is right around the corner. Stand strong, hold on, and we're going to make it through. Enjoy your summer, be safe. Real quick, Tiana back in the day used to encourage the rest of the family to do a rack as much as you can. Like a rack is a random act of kindness. So we every now and then, try to keep tally of our racks, and we get real excited when we do one. And I mean, that can be anything from me being behind you at the gas station and you being encouraged to fill my tank, whatever it may be.
Just let me.
So if you can find it in your heart to do some racks this summer and spread love as much as you can, because our district is not perfect, but I'm pleased and proud to be a Franklinite, and I'm pleased and excited that I'm raising my kids in this district because we are doing some amazing things. Dr. Valley, thank you for you and the rest of your team. To my fellow board members, thank you once again for another wonderful year, and once again, enjoy your summer. Thank you.
Thank you, Walter. Bill, do you have anything?
Yeah, I'll be real quick. First, I want to thank the community of the school for its outstanding support in the fund that we collected for the family of Alani Sanchez, the young girl who drowned in the home of a babysitter. The PTOs helped me with this. They were fantastic, and we'll be presenting the mother with a gift at the end of this week. Secondly, the RTS ceremony yesterday was terrific and really inspiring to see young adults move on. And then just in the memory of Tom Del Caso, a principal who founded, McAfee Road School, I worked with him for many years. He got a kick out of the following thing, and I just do this as a little tribute to him. McAfee Road School is named after a giant football player. And all the streets in Levitt, that's the community right across the street from St. Matthias, are named after giant football players. So we would sit down, Tom and I, and talk about the names real quick. King, Sutton, Webster, McAfee, Triplett, Brown, Kyle, Lynch, Patton, McAfee, Tunnell, Link, Drake Road, Landry, Johnson Road, Connolly Road, Greer after Rosie Greer, and Frank Gifford Street, and there's many more. So it's just a little tribute to Tom, because he would sit and talk to the students about that, because he was in the 60s, and that's when that Levitt development was built. So just in memory of him. Thank you.
Thank you, Bill. Thank you for, I never knew that, so thank you for the history lesson. Sammy, do you have anything?
Yeah, just a few comments. Thank you to all the retirees. Your work is much appreciated. I mean, when I see decades and decades of work to sustain what we have in Franklin, I'm just in awe of all of those professionals that were here for the long run and made Franklin what it is today. So my deepest appreciation to you all. Thank you to Dr. Ravalli and the cabinet and the entire staff that's staying on for the challenges ahead. Thank you for taking on your role. It's quite a role, and as you saw, we need every person, and you're stepping into a really big thing, and we look forward to all that you can bring. We have a lot of confidence that you'll be able to do that. And just as a mention of Juneteenth coming, I think it behooves us to remember the progress that our country has made, and that we hopefully will continue to make, that every person will feel we are one of the top 10% most diverse communities in New Jersey, and in the legacy of Juneteenth and the spread of even more equity and more inclusion and things like HIBs and things like that going down in our community. I hope that we all continue to come together in that pursuit to make Franklin a place where everybody feels welcome and everybody feels like they have a voice and that they belong. And that's all. Thank you so much. Have a great night.
Thank you, Sammy. Ardeman?
Yes, I want to start with saying I see administrators in front of me, and Ms. Peters, congratulations. You joined that list, and I can only say that I feel proud, and my smile gets wider with every year, with phenomenal people staying and being here in our town. And Franklin is on a move and will continue to be on a move, so I wish you all a very happy summer. 4 more days to go, and we'll get through. And I hope you all get to enjoy some relaxation, some sunshine, and for the administrators for their hard work. We'll have definitely a great new year coming ahead of us, and I wish our students, staff, custodians, everyone connected to our school organizations, our parents, our children, everyone a very happy holiday season, and we'll wish our graduating class a long journey ahead, new areas, new chapters, new avenues on Friday. Thank you.
Thank you, Ardeman. I would like to start out by saying we have some amazing end-of-year events. Some have already happened, such as kindergarten and pre-K and 5th grade moving up ceremonies and 8th grade moving up ceremonies and dances and concerts and our TS graduation and so many other things that it's returned to normal, or the new normal. So take advantage of that. It was really cool to be able to attend some of those events, and it makes you appreciate, or it reminds you of why you sit here as a board member. It's our reward, going into the schools and seeing all the things that the kids are doing, because it's amazing. So congratulations to our graduates from pre-K, kindergarten, elementary school of 8th grade, and especially to our graduates, class of 2022, Franklin High School graduates. We've given you the tools. We hope that you use them, and remember that Franklin is always your home, so we're always here for you. And to our staff, you guys are amazing, and we can't do this without you. So thank you so much for all of your hard work. And I know for many of you, your year doesn't end on Friday. So thank you for that. And I feel like I'm doing a commercial here, but in addition to the year-end events, the Franklin Township Warrior Education Foundation is hosting their annual golf outing on Friday, June 26th at Bunker Hill. Information for that will be found on the district's website. The Franklin Township football, what? Monday.
Monday the 27th.
Oh, wow, I'm so close. It's right after we graduate. The Franklin Township Football Club for the high school, they are hosting a golf outing in July, and the Franklin Township, or the Franklin Warrior for Life Foundation is hosting their golf outing in August. All of these golf outings are fun, but what they're really doing is they're raising money to support pilot programs for teachers or to support scholarships for our students. So everything that these events do and these fundraisers do, similar to what the band parents do and the booster club parents and the drama parents and all of those other wonderful school-supported organizations do, it goes back to the kids, and that's why we sit here. So have a wonderful summer. Stay safe. Be happy. If you're a kid, pick up a book, read something while you're at the beach or at the pool, and we're adjourned.